Getting rid of balance and blending everything. That's the topic that we're discussing today. So whether you are listening on YouTube podcast, it's a new thing. Hello. Welcome. Thanks for hanging out with us today. Or if you're just watching like an old-fashioned YouTube video, welcome and thank you for hanging out with us today. This is just going to be a fun little discussion.
If you guys are watching this over video, look at Mariah's jacket right now. She went into the balancing mode, even with her hand gestures.
Yes,
man, she reminds me a lot of my yoga instructor at the courthouse.
Your yoga instructor?
Yeah, the vibrant colors and then the voice in your tone. It was so perfect.
Oh.
It was awesome.
Thank you.
Because work-life balance, if you do not have it, it makes life difficult. It makes life hard. It makes your marriage hard, relationships hard. Your problem-solving skills are very important in these areas, and that's not something that a lot of entrepreneurs but business-minded people talk about often.
Yeah.
But I think it's a valuable point and topic to discuss today with you, Mariah.
And we're just going to share some of the like practical ways, I guess, that you could say that instead of, you could say like balancing a marriage, parenting, and running a business and everything else that we do, we don't separate them. We don't compartmentalize. And that's kind of like the main thing is like how we do that. So we have some points here we'll touch on, but
it always like makes me just, is it fathom? I'm always fathomed. Is that
fathomed? I'm fathomed?
I'm always fathomed.
You're mind blown?
There we go. Yes, I'm always
oh
fathomed when people come up to me and they're like, Spence, how do you do it? How do you guys do this? Because from an outside perspective, our life might look a little bit differently on the inside when people aren't around us. So maybe it's our atmosphere we create. Maybe it's our tones. Maybe it's our energy. That's a big word right now, energy. But people are always wondering how and what do things look like. Not that we're the most successful people, but we're definitely happy people. Mm-hmm. And I think in life that's very important to be happy because you only get this so many years to be on it. So better make it worthy.
If you're not happy with what you're doing, then what are you doing? So I often hear from other moms that running a business with your kid at home sounds really stressful. And we only have one kid, so we can't speak for everyone. But from our experience, it doesn't have to be. So a few points, I guess, before we get into more of like the practical, like some things that we do. Just to think about, because I was thinking about that and I was like, I guess you could, if you're like looking at it from a different perspective and you're like, how do you get work done with your kid, by like not being in daycare or whatever, like you take your kid with you to the grocery store. You take your kid with you oftentimes to have coffee with a friend or run errands or whatever. So why wouldn't you take them with you to run your business? A lot of the stuff we do in our business is just a different type of running errands. Obviously, it's different if you're meeting with a client, especially a seller client in person and like giving a presentation. But most of the things that we do in our business can very easily be done having your kid with you as a family or wherever or whatever. Mm-hmm. It just takes a little tweaking and intentionality to become easy. Just like I said, like you do all these other things. You prepare dinner, with your kid there. So why couldn't you get work done on your laptop? It just takes intentionality and preparation and maybe some tweaking. So for example, if we're going to be in the car for a while running errands for our business, which a lot of times that's what our day looks like, I'll prepare ahead of time with activities that my daughter can do in the car to keep her entertained. So that's just like one little thing that like preparation, intentionality.
There's conveniences you need to create around you. And that's one of the biggest things is like when there's a listing appointment, for instance, that to me is like a no-go in real estate. I'm not going to bring my kid on a listing appointment, but I can bring a kid on my buyers, pending on the situation scenarios. But say it just didn't align. For instance, the listing appointment's happening and you have the responsibility to have the baby or the toddler or the 10-year-old. Who knows? Yeah. Coordinate, plan, drop one off for an hour with the other spouse, let them hang out. Okay, now go pick them up. There's inconveniences, yes, that might happen. And that's mainly driving time and driving across town when you don't necessarily want to do it. But it reminds me of this video that's viral. Dr. Pat Peterson, I believe is his name. He has this very short clip. He's a world-renowned doctor. He's on the Joe Rogan podcast multiple times. But he says, you only get 4 great years with your children. Wouldn't you rather have them be around you, the people that matter most, and also the memories you get to create with them in life that actually matter in those 4 short years? I think that's pretty valuable, because maybe you're just starting your business right now, or you're just the busiest you've ever been, like a lot of people, okay, in the entrepreneur field. You're just so busy, and this child just is inconvenienced you. Well, that's your problem. You need to change your mindset. Get over you. And maybe I'm being too harsh right now, but quit being so selfish. Because ultimately, these kids are the most important thing in your world right now, in most cases. And it comes to that big point, when's enough enough?
Yeah.
Are you going to choose opportunity over obligation, or obligation over opportunity? It's really up to you in what order you want to run things and structure your life.
I like that. That's really good. I just feel like a lot of it comes down to not compartmentalizing. And what I mean by that is we really don't do that at all. Our day doesn't look like, which I listen to a lot of different real estate, podcasts, video, like everything, just because I love learning about real estate. It's a big passion of mine. And literally everybody says, like, this is the schedule you need. You need to be on work from this time to this time. Like, we don't have on work time, like this time to this time. Like, a lot of time, our day looks like, maybe we're at home or doing something, and then we go, like, we tag team each other. I'll go to the other room and do a buyer consultation, and then I'm back, on a play date, and then have a call later with a client. Like, it's not this big, I don't really know how to explain it besides compartmentalizing. It's not like, this is family and this is business. Like, we have to separate it. Like, it's literally it's just our life. It's just our day, and it flows really well. And I think it's really beautiful. And I don't know. That's
ultimately,
it works really well.
You can look at that and be like, wow, they are so unstructured and they don't know. But here's the deal. We're human beings, just like you guys view in this video. Yeah. We get in routines. We get in habits. So we all generally have a routine. Okay. So when you wake up, do you shower or brush your teeth? I don't know. Is that called a routine? Or do you do it in the evening? Is that your routine? So we get these routines, but we don't actually say them out loud. So it becomes pattern in our life. And it's probably the same in your own business. It's implied. So once you start bouncing back and forth on each other, and then you create a sturdy and durable routine that works for you and your spouse with the kid involved, it's like wonderful. And now it's not night and day. It's not even over a month that becomes perfect. It's like testing out what's working. Maybe do certain things at certain times, not exact, at 11 a.m. I have to do this. It could be 11:30, then you start, So maybe it's like less of a care attitude and more of a carefree attitude. You could call it that, or an unstructured attitude. But ultimately, if you love what you do, like Mariah said, you're going to love your business even more, because that becomes a part of your life.
Right.
And your family is your life.
Right. And I think it's just really positive for kids to see, to go with you. I mean, I grew up doing that as like with parents that were business owners, and like just going to meetings and, sitting in the back room coloring during, and I think it's very positive for them. But another thing is, so I live by time blocking, and I know every single day because our daughter is currently 3, and so she does still nap. And if she doesn't nap, she has like a designated quiet time in her room, whatever, where she plays by herself. Like, we try to do similar time, but it's, we're not super structured. But I know before my day starts exactly what work projects I'm going to be doing during her nap time. And so when it is her nap time or that quiet time or whatever, I'm very focused, and that way I'm not trying to do things and being distracted, which if you have to do that, sometimes you have to do that. But I know ahead of time I have these things time blocked into nap time, and so I can get them done so much faster, these work things that I'm doing, whatever it is, whether it's like a buyer consultation or something else, I can get them done more effectively and efficiently because I know ahead of time, like, this is what I'm going to be working on. And I'm like all in when I'm doing that, and I'm not like multitasking, I guess you could say. And then there's a lot of other things that don't require that, like running errands. You know, you can go do that anytime. Anyone can go do that. There's a lot of like work errand type things. Like my daughter and I went to go pick up a lockbox from a listing yesterday. Like they love being included in those things and get excited.
And I just call it
about
going to work with me.
But
you want to go to work with me? Yeah. And she knows what we do, surprisingly.
Yeah.
She knows we help buy and sell houses.
I always remind her. I always tell her. This is what we do. I tell her. I educate her. But also, another thing is I save that like focused work time for the nap times. And I try not to do like, if there is anything else, just because I want to make the best use of my time, if there is anything else that I technically can do, even if it's a hassle to do with my kid with me, like, you know, laundry, like house chores, like dishes, you know, that type of thing. Like I don't do that during her nap time. I save that for like the focused work time. And then I do those other things when she's with me because I don't want to waste that time. I'd rather like, even if it takes longer, like it's good for her to learn and be there with me while I do those things as well. So that's like my mindset on that.
And I approach it somewhat at the same time. Blocking is very huge. You got to be good at time management, time blocking.
Yeah.
But you understand your task list of like absolutes, things you have to do that day. Cool. I'm usually writing those in your notes. Now, if your toddler or your kid, for instance, is just continually getting in the way of those have-to-dos on those day activities, okay, you're going to have to shelf it, deal with the kid, time block. She or he needs your attention right now, okay? Yeah. They just need you, so you're home right there. If your spouse is at home, she's working, cool, or he's working. But you need to understand when the relationship becomes a pest or a nuisance and it's getting to the point of you being aggravated or angry. Okay, now we got to realize what's important and what's not.
Right.
Somebody needs your attention right now.
Right.
So we are going to deal with that. Okay, let's work it down. Maybe segue into a different area. And then if you feel another moment, you can maybe sneak away or just do the same thing in the same room and there's no more distraction. Now go back to work.
Right.
So understand the task list, what's important and what's not.
What's like super urgent. Another thing to go along with that, having to do with that, I don't know if you ever do this or if you've like noticed this as well with Astrid, our daughter. Something I've noticed is if I'm trying to get work done, like say I get up like first thing in the morning, whatever, we're together and I tried to get work done, she is so much more needy. She wants my attention, like literally doesn't want me to do anything. And I feel like as like moms especially, but also as just like parents in general, especially like ones that are with their kids all the time or just like the majority of the time, it can kind of feel like if saying this can be like, what do you mean I'm with my kid all the time? But but a lot of that time you're not actually giving them undivided one-on-one attention. You know what I mean? Like you're kind of just there. You're not like filling their love tank. And so something I've noticed with her is if I, instead of jumping right into whatever that is that I'm trying to do in the beginning of my day, no matter what it is, even if it's not necessarily work related, if it's not like paying attention to her, if I just spend like 15 minutes, my phone is off, she has my full attention, we're either like playing together or I'm reading to her, like one-on-one full attention time, then the rest of the day I can do like it goes so much smoother. Her tank is full. Like it's strange,
it really is like filling
but it's
a tank.
so true how if I just do that first, and like that's why a lot of times I'll start my work day by reading with her, and her love tank's full, and then she plays by herself so much more while I do other work stuff. So like all these things, I feel like this is something that I don't know what's the right word. This is something that you could say has nothing to do with real estate or you're running your business, but everything does, because if it improves your life in one area, then it's going to help you run your business more effectively. You know, like taking care of your health. Like if you, like you could look at it as like, it has nothing to do with your business, but if your like health fails, you can't sell any more houses.
You're going to feel better. You're going to have a better mood. You're going to have a better attitude.
If you can't get out of bed for, 6 months, and like, you're not going to be able to run your business effectively. So literally everything is connected. That's kind of like what it all comes down to. Yeah. Like there is no balance. It's not like this and this. It's just
no one has like secret formula.
Yeah.
Like they try to sell you is like, oh, you have to do this. You need to do that. Everybody needs to buy or hire somebody for this status or title. And the reality is you need to kind of test out the waters of what works off of you, your spouse, and child. and then create the world and revolving around them. Now, there's a difference between grinding period, and that's when you're like first starting or you need to get stuff done, like grind. Yeah. I get that. Yeah. I love the grind. It feels good, and you need to be able to work, and you need to have your office. You need to have your quiet time. You need to have alone times. Yeah. We're not telling you that constantly you need to be with your spouse, your children, people. Right. Period. You need to be able to have that secret place, that quiet place, if that's what you call it, and go hard. Now, if that's for an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, that's your decision. But ultimately, that's where the time blocking comes in, and then the communication side of, hey, babe, I need to be at the office from this time to this time because that's one of my absolute tasks that I'm doing. And during that time, I'm doing prints, calls, following up on current transactions, talking with escrows, talking with current clients, past clients, and doing that task list. Now, I get to the office, I have the task list, I perform it. I'm efficient. I'm not just getting on my phone, scrolling through Facebook, getting distracted. Yeah. That's the biggest thing that I've seen be a mess up in my business or my world is when you get content with something and then you go down a little rabbit hole. We've all been there. That might be why you've stumbled on this YouTube channel or this podcast. You've stumbled down the rabbit hole. Well, it happens. And what do you do? Okay, cool. You wasted 2 hours. You get back on track and you continue on. And that's really all you can do about it. Right. I think... I look at it as like, that's time you can't get back.
It's true.
Oh, just don't get in a habit.
But like you're saying, I think intentionality is really key with like intention. Everything. And I know for me, it comes down to tentatively planning my week ahead of time. And it doesn't mean, when I say planning my week, it doesn't mean I'm booking up every day, the week ahead of time, morning to night. Like that's not the way that it looks. But I do know like what... tasks I'm going to be focusing on in my business on that week. And I have it planned at least like a few days. Like I know, and it's not for me, like I write out my schedule ahead of time, but it's not like, how do I say? It's not like the full schedule. Like I'm going to be do this at 11 and then this at 12 and then this at 1. It's more just like, these are the 3 main pillars that I need to make sure get done in my business this day. And then I can do them whenever it fits in or whenever it makes sense because a lot of things in this business are not structured. It's just like, time's usually of the essence, but not with everything.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Realize what's important and what's not.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's kind of all. I mean, I don't really have anything else. I know for you, another thing, I guess you work in the hot tub, you work in the sauna. Like it doesn't have to be like, this is your business. You can run it and structure however you want. In the summer, like you better believe I will be working while I'm laying in the sun. Like you do not have to. Just because I keep going back to, because I guess I just get annoyed by all of the, real estate people that just say that like, this is the way that it has to look if you want to make this amount of money in your business. But like, you have permission to be a successful real estate agent and make a really great, comfortable living and not have it look like, people say that your business needs to look like. Like you have permission to do that and it's your business and you can run it however you want to run it. Like you get to structure it. Mm-hmm. Like you get to do it.
That's why we got in this industry.
Yes. That's why we got in the industry, not so we can be at the office at 8 every day. But if you want to do that, then do it.
It does help you.
You.
It does help you in the beginning though.
Yes.
Honestly, if you're around, if you're around people that you strive to be like or want to be successful with, you got to be around them. There's reasons why I do certain things in our business, hot tub, sauna, whatever, where I kind of shared my secrets. But I enjoy it. And that's because I've looked up to people that do that and I've seen their successes. And I've always wanted to structure my life, not as a mimic or a copycat, but I was always told to do what the best guy does in the room. And that was relating to wrestling. I was a big wrestler. And if you wanted to be the best, you got to follow the best. So I have my mentors I look up to, and I've seen what they've done. I've seen their failures, but I've also seen a lot of their successes. And I encourage you guys, as our audience out there, to do the same. Yeah. Find 3 to 5 people that might be your age, might be older than you, but has experiences that you want to have. And not necessarily ask them to lunch. That might be a little too cliche. But like try and get on a personal level with them. Call them. Text them right now. And just bullet point questions and see if they reply to you, because you don't need to waste their time, 2 to 3 hours going on a lunch or something. They're busy enough. Okay. Say what you got to say, do it, and move on.
That's good.
And their advice might change the way you operate, might change your world. So I encourage you guys to go do that.
That's really good. Okay, one more thing though, because I don't want this to get taken the wrong way. I'm not just saying like if you are a new real estate agent, you can just like we're not just talking about like just chilling all day. Like that's not the goal here.
No.
That like I don't want to paint that picture, but it really, like I said, but it really just comes down to time blocking. Like if you are a new real estate agent and you don't want to be working on a 9-to-5 schedule, like all these other real estate agent gurus will whatever say that you need to do to make a certain amount of money in real estate, you don't need to do that, but you do need to time block things that are important in your business. And that might mean time blocking an hour or 2 hours of, for sale by owner calls every day, or an hour or $2 hour. Yes, I almost said an hour or $2 because you just said that. An hour or 2 hours of video content marketing, a day or a certain amount of time a week. Like we have that time blocked, and once you have it time blocked, you can kind of do what you want with the rest of your schedule, because you know that the important things are getting taken care of. They're going to be what's continuing to bring you in the business to your business. So yeah. All right. Well, we are going to go to a steakhouse now and have some clams. So
is that business or not? Leave it up in the comments. Let me know.
Thank you for listening. If you haven't already, be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell, because we come on here every single week, and we will see you next time.